11:42 a.m., September 1st, 2025. On the outskirts of Karen, a group of Russian soldiers step into what looks like nothing more than a ruined, forgotten house. From the outside, it's a ghost of a building. Cracked plaster, sagging roof tiles, weeds sprouting through broken steps. To any passerby, it's just another abandoned shell in a war-torn city. But inside, the truth is far more dangerous. This ruin hides a covert Russian command post, one of the most critical nodes in their UAV network on the western bank of the Dnipro. From makeshift desks and tangled wires, officers here can direct more than 40 Shahid drones every week toward Kiev, while guiding at least 30 Lancet kamikaze drones against Ukrainian artillery positions in Kherson and Zaporizhia. For the Russians, the location is perfect. Buried inside a residential block, surrounded by civilians, and almost impossible to suspect. To them, this building is invisible, untouchable. But what they don't know is that their secret has already been exposed. For days, Ukrainian intelligence has been tracking every movement, every signal, every emission from this house. Overhead, a silent La-100 reconnaissance drone circles constantly, streaming live data back to command in Mykolaiv. The entire layout, rooms, antennas, entry points has been mapped in detail. And now, as the Russian soldiers step inside to begin their shift, the countdown to destruction has already begun. Within minutes, a Ukrainian MiG-29 will streak across the sky carrying precision bombs designed to erase this building and everyone inside it from the battlefield. This is not just another strike. This is a message. What the Russian soldiers don't realize is that their every move has already been compromised. High above the city, almost invisible against the clouds, a La-100 UAV has been circling for days. Silent, patient, watching. Every radio signal, every flicker of movement inside that crumbling house has been captured and transmitted back to Ukrainian command in Mykolaiv. Operators there aren't just seeing shadows. They've built a full map of the site. Antenna positions, entry doors, even the pattern of soldiers arriving and leaving. Nothing is hidden anymore. Inside the command room, giant screens glow with live feeds. One shows a detailed infrared outline of the building. Another tracks radio frequencies bouncing from its antennas. The Ukrainian staff know exactly who is inside, what they're doing, and how the command post connects to Russia's broader UAV network. But surveillance alone is not enough. Precision requires patience. For days, the Ukrainians wait, timing shift changes, monitoring activity, ensuring the maximum number of personnel will be inside. The house is no longer just a building, it's a target box, glowing red on their maps. And today, everything is in place. The moment the Russian soldiers walked through that door, the strike clock began ticking. A Ukrainian MiG-29 is already being readied on a forward strip, armed with weapons designed for surgical destruction. For the Russian officers inside, it feels like another ordinary day. For the Ukrainians, it's the moment they've been waiting for. The chance to silence one of Russia's most dangerous drone control centers in a single, devastating strike. The trap is set. The hammer is about to fall. In a hardened shelter near Mykolaiv, the Ukrainian Air Force prepares its strike package. The mission is clear: eliminate the Russian UAV command post in Karen before a single order can be transmitted. The weapon chosen is the GBU-39 small-diameter bomb, a 250-pound precision glide munition. At just 6 feet long and less than 8 inches across, it doesn't look like much. But once released, its folding wings allow it to soar more than 60 miles, guiding itself with GPS and inertial navigation to strike within 3 feet of its target. For this mission, 2 of them will be enough. But success won't come easily. The MiG-29 assigned to carry out the strike must fly low and fast, weaving under radar horizons and slipping past Russian defenses. Around Kherson, Podlet K-1 early warning radars and Panzer S-1 missile batteries form a deadly ring of protection. A single mistake, one wrong waypoint, 1 second off course, and the fighter could be tracked, locked, and destroyed before reaching its release point. There will be no escort, no fighter cover. Just one MiG-29, armed for precision and survival. Under its wings, 2 GBU-39 bombs. On its fuselage, an SPS-141 jamming pod to blind enemy radar. For defense, 2 short-range R-73 missiles, a last-ditch hedge against Russian aircraft or helicopters. And hanging beneath, twin-drop tanks filled with jet fuel, insurance for a high-speed escape once the bombs are away. Back at the command post, the LEA-100 UAV keeps circling, silently feeding live video into the MiG's onboard computer. Coordinates are double-checked, cross-matched, verified again. Every calculation matters. Every second counts. By 11:55 a.m., the pilot climbs into his cockpit. Systems power up. The bombs are armed, their fuses set to instantaneous impact. No need for deep penetration against a simple 2-story house. On the mission board, one phrase stands out: target priority critical. The MiG-29 is ready. The trap is set. Now comes the most dangerous part: getting to the target alive. 11:58 a.m. The engines of a Ukrainian MiG-29 roar to life on a forward strip near Mykolaiv. The pilot, Captain Mikio, eases the throttle forward. Twin RD-33 engines scream, and in seconds the fighter blasts down the runway, wheels lifting free of the tarmac. The mission has begun. Almost immediately, the jet drops low, hugging the terrain at just 165 feet above the ground. At this altitude, even powerful Russian long-range radars are blind, blocked by the curvature of the Earth. It's called nap of the Earth flying, and it's as dangerous as it is essential. One slip, one hilltop misjudged, and the MiG could be shattered before the mission even begins. The numbers flicker across the heads-up display. Speed, 480 knots. Altitude steady at 165 feet. A glowing countdown ticks toward the release point. 12 minutes and 47 seconds to target. But the MiG is not flying alone. From bases along the Dnipro, a swarm of Punisher UAVs takes off, climbing into the sky. Their job isn't to strike, but to deceive, to create false radar signatures, to scatter the Russian defense network with dozens of phantom blips. High overhead, the LEA-100 reconnaissance drone continues its silent orbit, its camera locked on the target house. Every movement inside the building is streamed in real time, cross-verified with the MiG's bomb guidance system. On Ukrainian command screens, 2 panes glow side by side, one tracking the fighter, the other showing the house in Karen. The threads are converging. The hunter is closing in. Each second brings the MiG closer to Russian air defenses. Each second increases the risk. By 12:06 p.m., the strike package is in motion. There's no turning back now. 12:06 p.m. The MiG-29 races low over the fields, slicing through the air at nearly 500 miles an hour. Inside the cockpit, everything is steady, until suddenly, the warning receiver lights up. A sharp alarm blares. The SPO-15 Berioza radar detector has picked up a signal. The needle swings northeast. The MiG has been painted by Podlet K-1 radar. Captain Mikio reacts instantly. He banks hard into a beam maneuver, flying perpendicular to the radar beam. This tactic makes his Doppler velocity harder to track, buying precious seconds. At the same time, the SPS-141 jamming pod under his fuselage kicks in, flooding the spectrum with interference. On Russian radar screens, his trace blurs, distorted into background clutter. But the Russians aren't fooled for long. A nearby Panzer S-1 battery locks onto the fighter. The Berioza's tone changes, rising into a high-pitched scream. It's unmistakable. Fire control lock. Then the sky tears open. A white streak surges upward, surface-to-air missile inbound. In the cockpit, Mikio bleeds speed down to 450 knots, dumps flares, and releases an AL-50 towed decoy. The missile hunts for the MiG's engine heat, but as it closes in, the glowing flare blooms brighter, hotter. In an instant, the missile veers, chasing the decoy instead. A deafening explosion rips the sky apart, gray smoke billowing in the distance. The MiG is still flying. Russia's first intercept has failed. Inside the cockpit, the Berioza's warning falls back to a lower tone. The immediate danger has passed, but the mission is far from safe. Mikio knows the decisive moment is still ahead, climbing into a vulnerable pop-up maneuver to release his bombs. Every second now is a battle against radar, missiles, and time itself. 12:09 and 40 seconds. The MiG-29 is only 17 miles from its target. Captain Mikio pulls back hard on the stick. The jet pitches skyward, nose climbing at a sharp 35 to 40 degrees. In seconds, it rockets to 6,500 feet, breaking above the low-altitude cover that's kept it safe until now. This is the riskiest part of the mission, the pop-up maneuver. But it's essential. The higher and faster the release, the farther the bombs will glide, and the more accurate their trajectory will be. On the heads-up display, red letters flash, release point, in range. The MiG's computer syncs GPS and inertial navigation. The coordinates glow, lock tight. Margin of error, plus or minus 2 feet. Almost perfect. Mikio's hand hovers over the weapons panel. Mode set to precise coordinate. Fuse set to instant impact. Bombs armed. He steadies his breathing. One deep inhale. Then he presses the release. In sequence, both GBU-39 small-diameter bombs drop free from their pylons. For a split second they tumble. Then snap, diamond-shaped wings unfold, transforming them into sleek gliders. Their processors engage, guiding them with pinpoint accuracy toward the target house miles ahead. The MiG's roll is over. Mikio pushes the stick forward, diving hard back down to 165 feet, racing low to escape radar and missile coverage. The jet will live or die by its speed and altitude now. But from here, everything depends on the bombs. 2 silent hunters are already in flight, sliding through the air at nearly Mach 0.9, their guidance locked, their target inevitable. The strike has been launched. There is no calling it back. The 2 GBU-39s slice through the air, gliding silently at nearly Mach 0.9. Unlike unguided bombs, these aren't just falling, they're flying. Each second, their onboard processors recalculate speed, altitude, and angle, trimming tiny wing adjustments to keep their path flawless. Even under GPS jamming, their inertial guidance system keeps them steady, locked on the coordinates already burned into memory. Deviation, less than 1 meter. Above Karen, the LEA-100 UAV watches it all unfold. Its infrared camera zooms in on the target house. A yard antenna sways gently in the breeze. A window hangs half open. Inside, Russian operators hunch over laptops, crates of equipment stacked nearby. They're issuing UAV launch orders, unaware that death is screaming toward them from the sky. At 12:10 and 12 seconds, the bombs switch into terminal guidance mode. Their noses pitch downward, diving at a 40-degree angle. The house fills the camera frame. Then impact. A blinding flash erupts across the screen. A thunderous explosion shakes the air. One bomb slams into the wall, its instantaneous fuse detonating on contact. The second follows an instant later. The 2-story command post vanishes in a storm of fire and debris. Concrete walls crumble. The roof caves in. Smoke and flame billow hundreds of feet into the sky. Crates, antennas, and laptops are hurled like toys across the yard. Inside, nearly 20 Russian personnel, controllers, technicians, officers, are wiped out in an instant. None survive. From above, the LEA-100's feed jitters from the shockwave. Then it steadies, capturing the aftermath. Only rubble remains. The strike is over. The target is gone. The explosion doesn't just erase a building. It ripples across the battlefield. Within minutes, Ukrainian command screens confirm the kill. The red X on the map marks the destroyed site, but the true impact unfolds far beyond the smoking ruins. Inside Russia's network, chaos spreads instantly. At least 3 planned UAV strikes are cancelled on the spot. Shahid drones that were meant to slam into Kiev never leave the ground. Russian artillery units, suddenly blind without drone spotters, fire blindly. One battery makes the mistake of revealing its position. Moments later, it's wiped out by a precision HIMARS strike. On the front lines, the absence of drones is felt everywhere. Special forces raids are aborted. Ambushes are delayed. Logistics convoys, no longer protected by UAV overwatch, grind to a halt until nightfall. Without aerial eyes, they're vulnerable targets moving through hostile territory. For Ukraine, the effect is immediate and tangible. Supply convoys roll with greater safety. Ammunition depots near the front breathe easier, no longer under constant threat from suicide drones. Even Ukrainian artillery can maneuver and fire more freely, no longer stalked by hovering lancets above the battlefield. All of this, the cancelled strikes, the blinded guns, the frozen supply lines, comes from a single mission. 1 MiG-29, 2 bombs, 21 minutes in the air. What seems like a small strike has, in reality, paralyzed Russia's drone warfare network in Kherson for an entire day. And in modern war, sometimes a single day can change everything.